What is going on, everyone? This is Andrew O'Connell with Pristine Capital coming at you with yet another market recap video. It is February 4th, 2021. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy this content, and I will continue to make it for you. Today we're going to walk through the price action in the indices. We'll take a look under the hood and check out the sectors and style factors. We'll take a look at some of the trades that I took, and then we will wrap up with some options order flow. But before we jump in, quick risk disclaimer, nothing in this video should be construed as investment advice or recommendations. Please follow your own trading plan and your own risk parameters. And last but not least, do not ever YOLO your entire account into any one of my trades. So let's jump right into it. I can't believe it's already February 4th. Oh shoot, I have on here February 3rd. Oh well, let me just switch this up. So yeah, let's see. Anyway, all right, we are good. So let's jump right in. I am doing this market recap video a little bit earlier today. I want to just, get it out very quickly, and I'm going to smash a quick workout, and then I'm going to keep working on the Pristine Capital trading service. So let's jump right in. We had the S&P 500 up 1.14% today. We had the NASDAQ QQQ up 1.18%. We had the small caps up 2.04%. Oh my gosh. And then we also had the Dow Jones up 1.11%. So a couple days ago in my video, I talked about how this seems like a pretty bullish turning point here. And I outlined where we were in the OPEX cycle, where we were in terms of fear over this GameStop crashing the economy going on, or crashing the financial system. And we ended up having a really bullish run. And that certainly does not always happen where, what I think is going to happen actually plays out. But this has been a blistering 4-day rally we have here. Look at this. So, I even drew out these downward trend lines because I thought, hey, maybe we're going to start a downtrend here. I want to be cognizant of that and get into that mind frame. You can see day one of the bounce back, we moved straight into this monthly value area. Then day two of this rally, we moved through the point of control all the way up to the value area high. We had just one, short day of digestion, and then boom, we're breaking out of the monthly value area. So yeah, this was also a close. This was an all-time high close. So really strong price action today. And, that's really all there is to say about it. We're above all the key moving averages. We're above the monthly value area high. And for this rally, I came into it, positioned very bullish. And I kept progressively adding. In past rallies, there have been times when I sort of play neutral until we get up to this monthly value area high. And then on today's breakout, this is where I would get bullish. Okay, we're finally, out of all the resistance, and here we go. So even though it seems like this has been a really big rally really fast, today is really our first day of actually being broken out of the prior range that we were in. So what I'm trying to do is okay, even though the markets right now, they feel euphoric, we're making some money in this rally, I'm just keeping my mind open to more upside in the markets. We could definitely, especially given where we are in the options expiration cycle, we have tomorrow, then we have all of next week, and then that brings us into, options expiration week, where typically there's a lot of chop and all that stuff. But to me, I'm looking at this 39.71 level up here. And it might not happen overnight, might not happen tomorrow, but my mind is really open to that possibility that we can hit that level over time. So yeah, I'm still positioned very bullish. And the price action is definitely really strong here. Qs, seeing a very similar dynamic here. Let me see, let me wait for this to load. Qs, okay, the Qs not really as big of a breakout as what we saw with the S&P 500 here. But yeah, you can see for a couple days the Qs have been above this monthly value area. So yeah, looking very bullish with those mega cap tech names as well. The other thing here, speaking of the Qs, in the Qs, the biggest components are Apple, Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, those like huge companies. And look at the price action in Apple today. So Apple had a little breakout, and a little run into its earnings report. The earnings report came out really good. It was just fine, but it happened to come out right as that degrossing started and as the GameStop, debacle unfolded. So I kind of think Apple got, the short end of the stick in terms of the reaction to its earnings report. So Apple had, like a 3 or 4 day correction. You can see it's kind of based for a few days, and now it looks like it might be starting a leg up. So it's very tough to, I guess, be bearish on the markets when you have Apple, which is the biggest component or one of the biggest components in the S&P 500 and the Qs, looking like it might have a leg up in store. So I'm definitely going to be watching Apple next couple days. I might actually initiate a position in Apple. So we have the Qs. The small caps I wasn't really paying as close attention to today. And the small caps got their breakout too. The small caps have been leading us since the election. And you can see here, really nice breakout for these small caps as well. So we'll have to see what these next couple of weeks bring. There was a lot of participation in this rally today. And we will go through that when we go through our sectors and style factors. This looks pretty nice. And we have the Dow Jones. We've been talking about this the past couple of days. The Dow Jones has a lot of sort of like beaten down, like old dog companies in it. So it kind of makes sense where after this degrossing occurred and everything corrected, the Dow Jones has sort of been a lag recovering. But now you can see the Dow Jones hasn't made it through the monthly value area yet, but it is above the point of control. So we'll see what the Dow Jones does, but it's always kind of a laggard. Or at least it has been recently. All right, so let's take a look at these sectors and style factors. You can see here. All right, cool. So for our sectors and style factors, you can see there was a lot of participation in this rally today. We had the cannabis stocks. They are our number one sector / style factor in terms of momentum. So you can see up 2.78%. K-Web, I still have my 90 by 95 by 100 butterfly on. So for my purposes, I kind of want K-Web to stay around this level until options expiration. But you can see K-Web has been very strong. It was up 0.74% today. And then we started getting some of these cyclical components of the market rallying. So we had the regional banks up 3.18% today. That was actually our best performer. And I have my JP Morgan butterfly on as well, so I'm going to take a look at that. The laggards today, you can see solar stocks down 1.3%. Solar stocks have been a big leader, in 2020, really in the early part of 2021 as well, but it looks like some profit taking there. And you can see these gold miners, in the bottom slot in terms of momentum here, down 2.22%. Then for our style factor table, you can see high beta is now in the lead in terms of momentum. So we have high beta and cyclicals leading us higher, which is awesome. So there's definitely, very risk on sentiment. And then you can see our laggards were defensives and min vol. And then let's see, high div, low vol. It was also a laggard. So this is very risk on price action. So we went from looking pretty bullish a week or two ago. Then these really defensive style factors were bid for a couple of days leading up to the big, GameStop correction. Then we just went completely risk off for a few days there. And now it's like, boom, we're back to risk on. So this market's moving very fast in terms of these rotations, in terms of the mini corrections and the bounce backs. It's just a very fast-paced market. And then in terms of, some of the trades that I put on my watch list, I'll just go through some of these tickers here. So skills, I spent most of my morning really just concentrated on skills. So Skills had the headline come out that they were going to be doing a multi-year partnership with the NFL. And I actually had a small starter position in Skills. It's a company that I've been following for quite some time. I got a starter on in this one, maybe like in the low 30s on this last market correction. It was maybe like a 2 to 3% position of my portfolio, like pretty small. And when I saw this headline come out, I immediately started adding to my position. I got very aggressive. So the headline came out in the pre-market, I believe around like 7 or 8 o'clock. I forget, but it was in the pre-market. I added some shares at $35, and then I added more close to 38. All before the market opened. When the market opened, there was just a bunch of profit taking on this company, right from the start. But I was just looking at it, every bit of profit taking really as a buying opportunity, and I was just adding to my position. Because this company, if we take a look at Skills, like in my opinion, this is just so bullish. I posted about this earlier on Twitter. Yeah, this company I think was already on a really strong trajectory. And if you take a look here, yes, we have Skills. Just for the description of their business, they operate an esports platform that connects and hosts mobile games and mobile esports tournaments through competitions in the United States and internationally. So we know in terms of the industry that they're in, esports is going to be one of the fastest growing areas of the economy for the foreseeable future. And then Skills, they have a great margin profile, which is awesome. Companies like DraftKings that do sports betting, which I'm also really bullish on, like DraftKings does not have a good margin profile at all. That's definitely like the one drawback. Whereas Skills much better margin profile. The growth profile looks awesome. So if you look at, this is a little app. It's called Simply Wall Street. Look at these future growth forecasts. You can see 63.3% earnings growth and 31.7% revenue growth. And if you look, this is really before that news came out. If we look at valuation here, and this is not the end all be all, but I definitely like to look at this. Skills undervalued compared to its fair value and price relative to the market. Coming into today's session, this needs to update, but undervalued by about 31.4% with a fair value of around like $45. So when I saw this headline come out, I was like, oh my gosh. And then when I looked at the share structure, there's not really many shares in the float. There's only 67 million shares outstanding. There's a short float of about 16.26%. So my line of thinking was like, this company was already awesome. Now anybody who doesn't have an allocation to this company is pretty much going to have to allocate to it because they can't ignore it. It's a very easy business to understand. Everybody understands, the NFL being a really big player. So I could see this sort of becoming like a meme stock or like really popular stock on Robinhood. And yeah, so I was just adding to this. I really think this one could get to, $50 or even $100 over time. So yeah, this is now, pretty much my biggest position, especially in my investing championship account. I went from like a 2 to 3% position. I got myself all the way up to like an 18% position. So this is, really big. And of course, like, I'm not going to get married to it. If the price action, starts proving me wrong, I'll definitely take down my position size, all that stuff. I'm not going to be stubborn. But this really looked like a pretty unique opportunity. And I think there's going to be, of course, there was like some profit taking on the open. Because a lot of players out there, like if they get a certain percentage return, they're like, I'm taking my profits. When it ended up closing, toward the highs. So it was pretty good. But yeah, that was Skills. Celsius was another trade that I put on today. And Celsius. So this is one that I had some April calls on the books. This is another company I really like. I really like their product. I had some April calls on the books. As I talked about in my videos, I got stopped out of those calls. And I took them off just because I was like, this company, it's not really showing any strength, and there's so many other names moving. So especially for the purposes of my championship account, I was like, I gotta, just stop out. So I stopped out a couple of trading sessions ago, but this is starting to look like really constructive price action. And I see the estimated next quarterly earnings are for March 5th. So coming up in about a month. This, in my opinion, must have been a very popular stock amongst hedge funds, because as soon as this degrossing thing started due to GameStop, Celsius really just took a hit. So I think Celsius is an awesome business and an awesome company. The price action was very weak. Now it is starting to firm up. So I actually bought some call spreads for the February expiration. I bought the 60 by 65 call spreads for about $1.70. So risking $1.70 to make $3.30. And really what I'm playing for is that at some point over the next 2 weeks, I think we're just going to get a big green candle. And I think some institutional players pretty much going to look at their calendar and go, hey, Celsius is reporting in a couple weeks. We want to be positioned in this name before that. And I think they will add. That's sort of like the thesis for that trade. Because I think people are going to see what happened with, apps, for instance. A company that was on a really bullish trajectory that just happened to surprise with earnings in a major way. So I think, you could draw that same exact analogy where like Celsius is a popular name. It's not like everyone owns it though. And there's a big risk of, not being in before the report, especially when it's just had a correction. So it's really like my line of thinking there. So we'll see. And then what else? PVH is one that I have a butterfly on that I talked about. I believe I put it on yesterday. It was either yesterday or 2 days ago. The days all kind of like blend for me now. But PVH, Capri had a really nice earnings report, which is another company in the luxury retail segment. And I had a feeling this would happen. That's why I put the butterfly on, where PVH is also in that same exact segment, similar to Celsius. Had a really big correction here due to that degrossing. Maybe just in the beginning it was just a regular correction anyway. But yeah, my idea here is like this stock is corrected. If all these companies like Canada Goose, I believe, just reported a really good earnings report, they're also luxury retail. So it kind of makes sense where players would be like, hey, maybe we should add a position in PVH ahead of their earnings. So we'll see what happens. My target strike on my butterfly for PVH is at $95. So I'm actually kind of worried now that like PVH is just going to run too far. My far strike on my butterfly is 105. So if PVH just goes like super bullish, I'll end up losing my butterfly. So what I will likely do, if tomorrow we get, a fast and aggressive move to 95, I'll probably take some profits on my butterfly just out of fear that this thing might go, really bullish. And then the one stock I've been watching today that's sort of like my problem child right now is this one, VCVC, that I added yesterday. This one, I really thought that this one could make a move to the upside very quickly. Like when I entered, I was like, this thing could go to $30, very fast, with how enthusiastic everyone is over these EV companies. Today, it was down almost 10%. And the drop isn't really occurring on high volume. But I'm sort of in the position here where it's like, I'm trying to figure out how much rope to give this one in terms of just like waiting for the thesis to play out. Because like literally every other name in my portfolio is doing amazing things today. And there were a bunch of setups that I couldn't even take today because like my portfolio is pretty much like full. So I'm at a point where, things are moving so fast that it's like, I just don't even know if I have time to, just hold on to this VCVC. So we'll have to see. I'm giving it one more day. So a lot of times what I do is like I'll close out and then it just ends up moving right on without me. So I'm pretty much giving it one more day of rope. And if it doesn't really do anything tomorrow, that's when I'll probably close my position and just move on to something else. And then Billy Billy. Billy Billy's a position I put on about a week ago. Talked about it in this video. I put on Billy Billy somewhere like one of these candles. I forget if I put it on like when it remounted the 20-day, or maybe I put it on this candle right here. But yeah, Billy Billy made a really fast and aggressive move to the upside. And had a nice profit on my position. And like, given where I am, where like I was just saying, like I don't even have enough room in my portfolio, I was like, man, I need to at least take profits on something. So I saw Billy Billy had a red candle today, finished up 5.46%. But it looks like there was a lot of intraday selling. So this is a name that I do think can continue higher. But I was like, you know what? Since I have to, since I want to take something off anyway, I'll take off this one that looks like, maybe it's a little bit exhausted to the upside. So I closed out my Billy Billy position, I believe for, if I got in at like 113, it's at 142, maybe like a 10 to 15% gain on my common shares. So I took that one off. And that is about it for my trades for today. Let's take a look at some options order flow. Yeah, we'll see. My mindset is like, I want to stay very like even keel, not get, giddy about what's going on, stay very conscious of risk. Because last month for the competition, at one point I was up like 45% on the month. And then with that market correction, it ended up bringing it back down to like 23.6%, which is where I finished. So right now in my month, I'm doing really well so far. But I just want to remember that and go like, okay, at the first time that something might be changing, I will trim out some of the risk. That way, in case we get another little turn, I'll hold on to more of those gains. So right now I'm kind of like, all right, let's see what happens here. And just be on alert no matter what. But when I think about what I'm seeing in the markets, it looks like there's more upside, and there's nothing the market is showing me yet that suggests otherwise. So I just have to go with that. That was kind of a little bit of a tangent, but that's really just, what I'm thinking right now. Because what I don't want to do is, be one of those people that's just like, oh, too far, too fast, and like go short on the market, or, just take out all my risk at the beginning of the next leg up. So I'm just going to keep following the price, the volume, and the volatility. And that should be a good guide for how much risk I have on. So let's take a look. We're going to look for the orders $1 million and above. Wow, yeah, there's a bunch of orders here. See, Clove had some controversy in the morning about, short report came out, I believe it was by Hindenburg Research. Looks like someone bought some calls here for March 19th. I had a position on in this one for a while. And luckily I closed it out, maybe like a week or two ago. So let's see. Clove. Yeah, this one just looks... I want no part of this. Let's see. To the bull side or really the bear side? Starbucks. This looks pretty interesting to me because I did see some headlines today about reopening and restrictions being lifted. So Starbucks, prime candidate for that kind of theme. Let's see. These are calls going out to 2022. So let's see what Starbucks did. I remember back in the day, I tried shorting Starbucks, a bunch of times, and Starbucks beat me every single time. I've never gone long Starbucks, but now I'm kind of like, you know what? Starbucks, I want to take a shot on the long side if I can. And this price action looks pretty constructive. We just broke above the 20-day moving average and the 50-day. So yeah, Starbucks will probably be on the top of my watch list for tomorrow. Looking pretty strong here. Let's see. We have URI. What is this one? Let me see. It's not familiar with this name. For February 5th, so super short term, 200 strike calls. Those came in at 10 o'clock. Oh, United Rentals. Oh wow, this one, yeah, also another really nice pattern forming. So that's the thing, guys. There's just too many bullish stocks right now that all look really strong. Like this one looks amazing. Another one I was looking at earlier today, but I'm just pretty much like full on my risk, is OSCK. This one is in a really nice pattern. You can see sort of consolidating here, and dip buyers came in. But, you know, I'm at a point where in my portfolio, you know, what I'm trying to do is get really like the best of the best, or just like really high quality stocks and high quality setups. So it's at the point where it's like, yeah, can't take them all. That URI looked good. Then let's see. Okay, Salesforce, CRM. This is a name that's been kind of like asleep for a while. Let's see, CRM. Remember at one point I took a stab on the long side and got stopped out. But yeah, this one now we're getting our move. This one also looks really nice. I want to see when this one reports earnings. And they're acquiring Slack. And they also just have a really nice business model with really nice margins. See, it's a pretty high quality name. Okay, I don't yet have, you know, the estimate up here for when they're reporting earnings. So I'll probably take a look into that. But yeah, there's a VPOC up here at around 257. So it's like CRM. I also want to get along this one. There's too many. So we'll see, but that one is looking solid. And then we'll go through one more. So I see VIPS. VIPS in order came in at 326 for some 40 strike calls for 2022. VIP Shop. I've never traded this name before. Wow, VIP Shop just going whole hog bullish. This one's a little bit extended, so it'd be tough for me to enter here. But yeah, this candle's coming on very high volume. I want to see what these guys do. Operates as an online discount retailer for various brands in the People's Republic of China. Okay. I might do a little bit more digging on this name. Pretty interesting. But yeah, I don't think I could really justify getting in here. Yeah, that about does it for this market recap video. Hope you all had a great trading day, and I will see you all tomorrow.